Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. This is our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we take a look at our headlines from our city, state, and country. We take a look at your comments, your ideas, your questions, your suggestions on how to have a wonderful life here in Puerto Vallarta as a community of English-speaking locals. And I have a confession to make. Last night, I just did not sleep at all. For me, it's the transition from the cooler months and the cooler weather to the warmer months and the more humid weather. Every year, I know it's coming, and every year I go through the same adjustment process. So just for starters, I've set up a poll. I hope it's showing up on your screen, which I'm just curious as to whether there are any people watching that are going to enjoy their very first summer here in Puerto Vallarta this year. So if that is your case, I'm hoping that we'll have a little bit of discussion in the comments section as to what we do to stay cool, because the first summer in Puerto Vallarta will either make you or break you. But we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. We have a bunch of news to share. Some of the news are important. Some of the news are mundane because somehow our pattern of behavior starts changing during the summer, or at least that's the way I experience it. And of course, we have a very important and very timely update on something that we reported yesterday. I got a couple of very thoughtful notes from folks from Molino de Agua and Riviera Molino to give us some clarity on the news that we reported yesterday. So we're going to touch base on that. Now, before we get started, as always, oh my God, even my pace is a little slower. I apologize, but I need to get a siesta today. Anyhow, as always, we welcome everyone that is joining us for the first time to let us know that you are new by adding the word new to your comment, and that way we'll give you a proper welcome. And if you have something truly important that you wish to bring up during the broadcast, please add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comment, and we'll be so very happy to look at it and hopefully answer it or address it. So let us get started with our news, and we take it from there. Let's see. Authorities are not certain as to what started the weekend fire, the wildfire that consumed 27 hectares in the hills surrounding Paso Ancho this past weekend. It took over 24 hours of continued work by members of the Civil Protection Service and fire departments to completely extinguish the fire. Once this was accomplished, authorities set out to try to piece together its source. It is well known that controlled fires take place to prepare the land for farming, although I could be wrong on that. I'm not a farmer, but that's what I've always understood. But anyhow, it is also worth mentioning that if anyone is planning a controlled fire, one needs to do this with proper authorization and under constant supervision to ensure that what happened this weekend does not happen again. Still, we don't know exactly why the fire started, although we know they are quite common this time of year. Now that the Insurgentes Street vehicular bridge is completed, save for the details that are missing at the Quale market, work continues on the opposite side of the market to restore the suspended pedestrian bridge that connects the Isla Rio Quale with El Centro. So we take advantage of these images shared by Noticias PB to appreciate that there's still a fair amount of work that needs to be done. We are looking here at the wall that is right next to the western entrance to the Mercado. Opposite from that would be the island. So as you can see, not even the foundation has been built here. In this other image, we can take a look. Here is the side of the market. So this photograph was probably taken from the new Insurgentes pedestrian bridge. And we can see that there's some sort of foundation here, but clearly there is still a lot of work to be done to complete this project. Of course, authorities have not announced a specific date in which the new suspended bridge will be concluded, but I am sure the authorities are mindful of the fact that if this doesn't get done before the rains start, it's going to complicate a lot of things. Let's see. Now continuing with more news. As we know, Puerto Vallarta celebrates the anniversary of its foundation both as a city and as a municipality at the end of this month, and organizers are piecing together a series of concerts and cultural activities that, just as prior to the pandemic, will most likely take place on the Malecón and also on the Vallarta Explanade, which is where the Charro Festival takes place. The big headliner this year for the celebration of our city is Gloria Trevi. She's a Mexican singer, songwriter, dancer, actress, television hostess, music video director, and businesswoman, commonly known as the supreme diva of Mexican pop. In case you haven't heard of her, she is a huge, huge star here in Mexico. She will be presenting a performance on March 27, but the interesting takeaway from this news note is that, according to the city's director of licenses and permits, Luis Enrique Hurtado Gomar, permits have not been granted for the events just yet. The organizers are back and forthing with the government to ensure that all the details are taken into account so that this event can be properly authorized and that it can take place successfully. It is worth noting that this is the first May Festival that we've had since the pandemic. Of course, it was canceled last year and the year before. Between now and the month of October, we can expect a drastic decrease in cruise ship arrivals. There will only be 10 vessels docking in town this month. There is nothing new to hear. This is pretty much what happens every year, but it's all part of the changing rhythm of our city as we begin to enter the summer season. And not to get preachy or anything, but the royal we like to refer to summer season as summer season, not low season, as many people call it. Don't slap me, but I do think, and many of my friends concur, that as long as we call it low season, it will be low. There are some virtues to the summer. And they're difficult to find when you're covered in sweat and you're like perspiring. But summer has its virtues, and we are going to continue to find and celebrate and remind ourselves about the summer virtues in the coming broadcasts. Let's see. Before I update you on yesterday's news item, I have good news from Telmex. Telmex issued a press release. They have announced that their fees will remain the same as those from 2021, acknowledging that inflation is affecting many countries, including Mexico, and hoping to by not increasing their fees, that they are helping current and potential new customers. So if you are in need, yes, Paco definitely needs coffees today. Thank you very much for that, Marianne. If you are a Telmex or a Prodigy Infinitum customer, know that you and we will not have to pay more money for the service moving forward, at least for this year. I have an important, and as I mentioned earlier, very timely and very wonderful clarification. Yesterday, we announced that one of the news items that we shared yesterday had to do with a questionable construction project going alongside the Rio Quale, right next to Riviera Quale condos, and the report suggested that there might be some construction going on that has not been authorized. And I was very happy to receive two very thoughtful updates yesterday from people involved with the project. First, I heard from Susan Why Not Hanko, who was watching the broadcast, and I am going to read her statement verbatim. She said to me, I just watched today's show and wanted to offer some clarification on the Rio Quale project discussed today. Last August, Hurricane Nora tore away large portions of the river wall at both Riviera Molino and Molino de Agua. The temporary roadway has been built to allow construction of a new retaining wall to be installed along the river to protect both properties. Yes, all permits have been obtained from the correct authorities, and yes, the temporary roadway will be removed once construction is complete. My husband is president of the HOA for Riviera Molino, so this information is not hearsay. If you wish to update viewers with correct information, I am happy to put you in touch with the administrator of either building who can provide with facts and answers to any misinformation that appears to be floating around. Thank you very much, Susan, for such a thoughtful and complete explanation of what's going on. And then I heard from Tom Burns, and again, I quote, the work underway is solely to repair the river wall that was carried away during the hurricane last year and reinforce the existing wall. There is a temporary ramp to allow equipment and supplies to be moved. It and the temporary road will disappear at the end of the repairs. It is unfortunate that people spread rumors without verifying the facts. Speaking to one of the construction workers was not a worthwhile effort, and that is what happened yesterday. Apparently, some common citizens just went and started to ask the construction workers, and the constructions knew no better than to say, this is none of your business. Tom continues by saying, the facts could have been obtained from the administration office at any time. As president of the administrative council at Molino de Agua, I would appreciate it if you could help ensure that your listeners are aware of the facts. And of course, as you know, here at Coffee and Headlines, we're all about good connections, and I could not be more grateful because both Tom and Susan took the time to reach out and let us know what is actually going on. I hope that the construction that needs to be undertaken can get done in time for the rains. Of course, I'm sure this is truly, truly important. And again, thank you so very much for reaching out and giving us a bigger picture of what's going on there. Let us now take a quick look at the weather, and we will continue with a couple of interesting stuff. A couple of interesting stuff. Can you tell I didn't get enough sleep last night? I tell you. Rest in peace, Ro, says snarky weatherman. Yes, I've been reading some comments here and there, although I don't have the complete picture, but I will later on today. We are now enjoying 25 degrees Celsius. Feels like 25. Humidity is low. And why do I feel so sweaty? I don't know. Humidity is at 37%. Our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 76. And our weather forecast for today says mostly cloudy throughout the day with a high of 32 and a low of 20. Tomorrow, Wednesday, a partly cloudy day with a high of 31 and a low of 21. And Thursday, a clear day with a high of 31 and a low of 20. Now, before we continue, let me take a quick look at that poll just to see if we have any newbies. Let's see. Where are you, poll? Show me the poll. Dee, 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 dee. I love it when Facebook gets lethargic on me. Facebook must be going through the weather as well. Well, if I cannot get access to the poll results right now, come on, Internet, you can update yourself, can you not? Do, 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 do. Okay. I know I am now live. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Ah, there we go. So, apparently, there are 7% of you, which is actually 5 people, are going to experience your first summer here in Puerto Vallarta this year. So I want to dedicate the rest of this broadcast to the 7 of you that are summer newbies, because we are now going to provide you with answers to your questions. We're going to provide you with tips on how to make it through the summer. And I already see a couple of interesting questions that I'm going to hold on to. Before we go there, I want to give you a couple of more mundane headlines. But we are going to be talking about summer. Maybe I just need some therapy myself as well, because I'm really, really hot this morning. And it's not sexy hot I'm thinking about. But before we go there, a couple of other headlines. This is a canal I'm showing you that is located right next to my colonia, La Vena, and the next colonia over, which is called Valentín Gómez Farías. This canal is one of many throughout the city, and Noticias PV shares the story of a good Samaritan, a resident of the area who has taken to cleaning the canal on his own in anticipation of the summer rains. As it happens, we will get to take a closer look at the canal tomorrow during our Wednesday walk. So that should give you an idea of where I'm going to be walking. I have a craving that I need to fulfill, and it is absolutely killing me. But I won't tell you what it is just yet. But it's good to see that the neighbors themselves and people in the city take it upon themselves to put a little grain of salt to make their surroundings better. And I have another croc warning for you. If you are near the Los Tules beach, we had reported on this crocodile, the 3-meter crocodile that was seen sauntering with some tourists on the beach the other day. But here he is, and apparently he comes out to feed in the middle of the night. So if you're thinking you want to walk your dog, please bring a leash. If you're thinking you're going to have some lovemaking on the beach, you don't want to do that, because you do not want to end up as an appetizer for a local crocodile. Yes, boom. And now I'm going to rewind your comments, and I'm going to hope to see some tips and some acknowledgement of summer season, summer value season, summer sweaty season. What do we do to survive? That's what we're going to talk about. But first, your hellos are always wonderful. Good morning, Albert. Birds are chirping, and the coffee is good in the backyard. Coffee is good here, and I'm going to need a little bit of extra. Ramon seems like he just came and went. So sad today, because he lives in a few hours. I'm sorry to see you leave, Ramon, but I certainly hope you get back to where you came from in good health. Let's see what we have here. A counter, Deborah J. Janelle, multimedia artist. I finally get to be where I can catch you live 61 days to PV. You're going to be here right in the middle of summer. I love it. Ryan has 30 days to go until I have 2 weeks in Puerto Vallarta. That's wonderful. Let's see who else is here. Deborah further comments, the length of daylight affects my sleep pattern this time of year. You know what? For me, it's the change of weather, pre-travel anxiety. It's all kinds of things. But I just did not sleep well last night. Let's see what else we have. Another counter. Kathy Souza is saying 26 more days. Love it. My favorite part of summer is the afternoon rains. So beautiful. You know, Brad, when I am sitting at home and it starts to rain, sometimes I go out with empty pockets and just let the rain drench me. And then I come home and I take my wet clothes off and I take a nice shower. Joe comments, of course, Joe, who was watching us from Europe previously. Last year was summer number one for us. Wow, brutal. Spent a lot of time in the Costco vegetable cooler room, shopping slowly, very slowly. Oh, I hear you, Joe. It's either that or going to the movies or it's going to the mall. Paul remembers, yeah, hey, Paul, hey, Piba. Paul remembers his first summer, 2002, nearly broke me because I thought it made sense to run my whole house air conditioning 24/7. And Paul reports a 24,000 peso electric bill as an eye opener. And that was in 2002. It's nice to see that a lot of people that own their own properties now here in Puerto Vallarta rely on solar panels to get by through the summer months. I have at least half a dozen friends who have installed solar panels in their homes, and thanks to that, their air conditioning bill is ridiculous. But yes, if you are a newbie, please be mindful of the fact that electricity is very expensive in our city. Let's see. There's a question here. Are there plans to install a footbridge over the gap on Santa Barbara to avoid walking down or up the Highway 200? Not that I'm aware of, Doug. I have not seen any headlines recently about what's going on at Santa Barbara. If this is really burning this question, you may want to consider getting in touch with the Conchas Chinas neighborhood, the Amapas Neighborhood Association. They are pretty much the local organization that might have an answer to your question. If anybody else lives in the Santa Barbara area and has more information about this, it would be very much appreciated. Let's see. Deborah says, I'm looking forward to being there for 3 months in the summer, primarily because the pace will be slower. And yes, that is one of the things that we can expect during the summer months. Everything is mellow. And there are good things about that and not so good things about that. Dave has a very wonderful comment. The virtues of summer in Puerto Vallarta are found in San Sebastián del Oeste. As we know, is not even an hour and a half away from Puerto Vallarta, but it's high up on the mountains. A weekend getaway to El Tuito or a visit to the Botanical Gardens is always a good idea, as one way or another, getting out of the city and getting a little higher up on the hills always makes a difference. Patty says, yes, you walk down the street and sweat gets in your eyes. That's why I've been crocheting all my little sweat rags. And yes, it is uncomfortable when you get sweaty everywhere. La 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 la. Heather, good morning, Heather. Heather calls it the summer value season, and I think that is a beautiful way to call it. I know that a lot of businesses call it that. In past summers, I have engaged in staycations with friends. A lot of times, it is easy to find beautiful properties in nearby towns such as San Sebastian or in San Pancho, where you can get away with friends, properties that have their own swimming pool. And I figure as long as you can hide in an air-conditioned bedroom at night and you can spend time in a swimming pool during the daytime, it is a lot more manageable. That is, of course, for those of us that don't have access to our own swimming pool. Kathleen has a really good question. Are there many restaurants open during the summer? That is a great question. There is a number of restaurants that close down during part of the summer to do remodeling or to let their staff rest. The question is, there are many restaurants open with air conditioning during the summer. And I think a lot of smart restaurants have decided to invest in air conditioning during the summer months just because it attracts more clientele. So yes, there are a lot of restaurants that remain open during the summer. The question is, would you want to spend time at this, that, or the other restaurant if they don't have a handful of ceiling fans or pedestal fans pointing at you while you're enjoying your meal. Deb surrenders a wonderful tip. All errands before 10 a.m. I can totally relate to that. If I go shopping in the summer, well, I don't go shopping in the morning, but because of coffee and headlines. But if I have to go shopping, I will go and run my errands after 7 o'clock in the evening. Let's see what else we have. Thank you, Maggie, as in Peggy, for that. My tip to summer newbies: still apply sunscreen even if it's really cloudy. Absolutely true. Let's see what else. Doody. Patty comments on the Crocodile news item: human sushi. It has happened before. It has happened before, unfortunately. Um, Bring insect repellent, says Sheila. Everywhere I go during the summer months, I have my two containers. One is insect repellent, and the other one is my hand sanitizer. Let's see what else. Ramon is going to have breakfast at his favorite Freddy's Toucan. I wonder if you're referring to the one here in Fluvial or the one on Basilio Vadillo. Both are absolutely wonderful. Gail says, bring a washcloth to wipe your face. Absolutely. And I'll tell you something. Bandanas are not good. If you buy a bandana, most bandanas, unless they're really good ones, are not made of 100% cotton. So what you want to do is just get hand towels at the supermarket, or you can learn how to crochet and make them yourselves. But yes, you want to be wiping your face at all times. Let's see what else. Hello, Tammy. I hope things are good at your restaurant. It's already getting humid. Great for the skin. Yes, it is great for the skin, but sometimes uncomfortable. I hope things are well at Nacho Daddy's. Let's see what else we have. Doody. Sheila says, so I am always here in June, July, and for some reason never seen a fungus mosquito in the hotel zone. However, I have those tiny ants that bite on the balcony. Yes, I hear you. Let's see. Oh, Alan says you can always move the catapult to Amapas. Where is the catapult when we need it? Yes, this is the new Santa Barbara solution. No, actually, I'm kidding. Let's put this away. Summer, clean out your pores. Take a quick cold shower. Only one. When you get home, the pool ocean never felt better, and the tourist areas feel more Mexican. This is definitely true. Absolutely true. Mark suggests we go stock Oxos for free. I will do that. Well, I won't do that, but if just walking into the shops makes such a big difference. Patty comments on Mexican women just walking around with a hand towel on their heads. Absolutely. And this is part of the summer ritual. And then it starts to rain. And of course, I'm going to volunteer a couple of mine. If you're walking around the city with a backpack, not only do you want to be carrying an umbrella, but you want to have a way to put your comfortable sandals in your backpack and replace them by budget rubber chanclas, so that if you get caught in the rain, and the water is running down the sidewalk and you need to cross the street, your feet are going to get wet, whether you want this to happen or not, and you want to be able to not ruin your good shoes if you're out and about. And just like that, that's the way it happens. It's the kind of life that we live here in Puerto Vallarta during the summer months. So once again, those of you that are going to experience summer during the summer, those of you that are going to experience your first summer this summer here in Puerto Vallarta, we have hope and we cheer for you. Keep an eye open for good day passes. Keep an eye open for good movies to watch in the movie theater. We'll be sharing more tips as it gets warmer and warmer, and it will. That's it for me. With your indulgence, I think I'm going... Oh, that's a good one from Catherine. Ziploc your phone. My version of that, thank you very much, Catherine. My version of that is always carry plastic bags in your backpack or your merch or whatever, because, you're going to get wet at one point or another, and you don't want your precious electronics and whatever to get wet out there. That's it for me. I think I'm going to take a nap, although I have a bad craving for chicken. And I think I'm going to have to address that first. Have a great day. Stay cool. Stay kind. Stay happy. Thank you for joining us, and come back tomorrow.